Hunters. Life on the blockchain.
Welcome back to the blockchain, bounty hunters. We're here and we're back. And we have, as always, an extra special episode today. But first, our sponsors. And we have a new sponsor. We are finally sponsored by immunefi. So, the biggest bug bounty platform in Web3. If you're a white hat, this is where you earn real money and make crypto safer. Don't know where to start? Hit the feeling lucky button and let the hunt choose you. Now, that is a good promo. I like that. We're also sponsored by Recon. Get recon.xyz/riptide. Get $5,000 off your invariant testing engagement. And also Rare Skills. Go learn some skills to bug hunt. Go buy a boot camp and get in the game. Get 10% off with rareskills.io/riptide. Here's the issue with immunefi, and my guest today works for immunefi. No hate to immunefi, but so my links are getrecon.xyz/riptide and then rareskills.io/riptide. Guess what the immunefi link here is? It's calendly.com/d/cm5q-78j-4cy.
Oh no. Oh no.
So very easy. So everyone mark that down and type it into your browser. Anyway,
my God.
our guest today is Adrian Hetman, who is head of triaging at immunefi. Welcome, sir.
Welcome. Thank you for having me. And I want to apologize for this link. I don't know what happened. I wasn't even aware that this episode actually is sponsored by immunefi. But oh my God, yeah, we need to fix that.
I have a concern that the company is too big. And I don't know if it's true or not, but I remember talking to Mitchell back in Lisbon, and he told me he had like 60 people working, maybe more. And I bet it's only grown since then. But it's like when little things like that, when I'm like, you can't just make me a normal link, and it couldn't be done. And I'm like, oh man, that means like there's too much bureaucracy, or no one could just load it up and edit it. It has to go through layers of people. So hopefully not the case, but.
No, I mean, we have grown, but not so much. I mean, in terms of people, of course, we have like right now 70, 80 people. So we're like not like couple of hundreds people company. So no worries about that. But I truly don't know what happened here. But
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So, but I just want to say regarding what was said in that promo, that lucky button. Oh my God, that was quick win that changed so many lives, because many people already managed to find bugs and get paid for those bugs simply because they had anxiety of not knowing what to choose.
You know, I've never clicked that button on. I remember when Google had that, and I never clicked it. And I've never clicked it on immunefi, but it sounds like a good idea. Do a little dice roll and just dive in.
Yeah, I mean, especially for the newcomers and even for the elites who don't know what to work on, and they just got paid or they just finished some mediation and they're like, okay, what do I do next? And here you have. You click lucky button and the adventure chooses you. And many people actually were praising this on Twitter, and we didn't know that it would have such an impact. It was like one day of engineering work to do this, and we're like, okay, yeah, let's see what happens. And people just like,
yeah. I mean, how different is it really than what I advocate? Like, open up a block and just start searching. It's kind of cool.
Exactly.
Just dive into a random thing. And I was curious. I'll get these emails from immunefi saying, here's your next bug hunt. And I don't even know what it is. I think it's referring me to some project or like an I'm feeling lucky. Does it look at projects that I've had success in and then recommend me off that? Or is this just a random one?
From what I know, it does look at your profile, where you had actually success, what are your skill sets, based on the projects that you actually submitted back and get paid.
Okay.
So it is more personalized recommendation, but this is what I'm thinking it should be happening. But again, we just sent a Calendly link for a sponsorship. So
Okay, cool.
Of course, joking, but yeah, I mean, it should be more personalized from what I heard when this was launched.
Okay.
Yeah,
And so Adrian, let me ask. You've been with immunefi for quite some time, I think.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
I've
4 years.
seen you around, and so now you're running the whole triage department. Kind of maybe give us your scope. Like what's kind of your day to day and what's involved in that.
Okay. Do you want funny answer or serious answer? I can
Whatever
give
you
you
like.
both.
Whatever you like, sir.
Yeah, I'm basically a fire department. There are always like some fires, meaning like some bug reports that is not going that well in terms of like there's like a long dispute period and I need to step in, or there are like some new bug bounty programs to be launched and I'm actually overseeing those to make sure that they do follow our standard practices and best recommendations for immunefi, so it is quite clear for SRs what they can expect. There's still lots of work to be done on that front, but uh, it's getting better. Um Apart from that, just standard managerial things, distribution of tasks, understanding what actually is happening within the team, how we can actually make things more smooth for SRs and also for the projects in terms of like mediations time, triaging, what is our hit rate, things like that, expansion of the team, knowing what we can actually do and where we can be involved, how we can generally help immunify. So there's a lot of stuff where triaging and immunify is actually involved with.
Yeah,
It's not only triaging.
this is I mean, it's a critical function within the company,
Yeah.
and no doubt you guys have a lot to do. I was thinking about, just what you said in the beginning there, because someone tagged me recently, and it happens often. I get tagged on Twitter saying, "Hey, I was mistreated in a bug bounty program," and then you get their case, and valid or not, I'm seeing one side of the story, which of course is
Mm.
in favor who's ever writing it. So you don't know what to believe, but then you see some guy's story about how he was screwed by either immunefi or a project, and they've decided to air their grievances on Twitter. Obviously those are never a good look for you guys because it's one sided. You don't know what's
Yeah.
what, but how do you kind of how do you think about that on your end?
I mean, always when something like that, I do notice on my Twitter thread, I mean timeline, or somebody actually internally on Slack pings me about that. I of course get interested and try to understand if this is something that we actually screwed up or not. What actually is the story here? So I, in most of those cases, I'm involved myself, plus some help from the triage team to better understand the technical details, and then we try to either make it right, where sometimes we do make mistakes, but it's not as often as some people may would like people on Twitter to think. But most of the time, it's just like misunderstanding of the rules of BPP, or
The rules, yes.
yeah, the rules of the BPP, or sometimes it may be just uh, some newcomers or even serial spammers who are complaining about them getting banned. But when you look at the reports, they're just submitting the same report to 20, 30 different projects, which all is AI generated without runnable POC. I'm just like, okay, come on, man.
Mm. Is
Yeah.
this what Mackenzie was talking about, the Web 2 guys transitioning to Web 3 with their spam?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly the case. I would also imagine that there are like also new people generally in the bug bounty space who are just trying Web3,
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily having experience from Web2, but we don't have a concrete data because we cannot interview those guys. We cannot ask them for feedback. This is just something that we can sometimes just assume what's happening, and we can also see based on the uh, language of the report what kind of reports they're sending, that they're just wanting a quick back, and they're basically back bounty hunters.
Right, right. Expecting
Yeah.
to get paid for just some BS report they're sending in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to ask, who is Andrew? All my bugs, since inception, get triaged by
Yeah.
Andrew.
Yeah.
He never sleeps.
Andrew is like our pet friendly bot who's just checking basic things regarding bug reports.
I figured as much. or else promote this guy.
Yeah. I mean, at the beginning, we wanted to keep it a secret. That's why we gave it an Andrew name, so people can start. I mean, people react better when they know that, hey, there's maybe some human on the other hand. And that was actually true in the very beginning. But right now, it's our just filtering system. We kept the name because, well, everybody at this time knows Andrew. So, and everybody actually understood that Andrew is most likely a bot. So I'm not spilling any secrets here. But yeah.
And what about like the triagers that? Yeah, how do you assign to a bug report? Someone submits something. Do you have certain triagers sticking on certain white hats, or is it just a pool and everyone just picks one?
Uh, it's a little bit different. We For managed triaging, this is where we actually do get assigned based on current availability of a triager, because we're having 24 hour per 7 service for managed triaging. So we have different people working different hours. The whole team is distributed. Currently, we have 9 triagers. We're hiring for the 10th. So the team is expanding. And yeah, we're working Monday till Sunday every hour. So based on that availability, those people get assigned to the incoming bug reports. On the mediation side, is a little bit different. There we actually assign people based on the preference and also their skill sets. Um, we do see which hackers actually do submit which reports also over the mediation. So sometimes I do assign the same triager for the same white hat because they already know and work with that person.
Mm-hmm.
And the same case may be for the projects, because some triagers may understand different projects way more deeply than the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
So, but this is mostly for the most complex projects that we have on our platform.
Yeah. So, if you have a triager picking up a bug report, and how long does it usually take them to get up to speed on? I mean, because some of these bug reports can be complex, and for anybody, it takes a while to kind of see if you see the bug, and then even to validate it, to run the POC, set up the testing suite, especially for DLT bugs. It you know
Mm-hmm.
it takes a while. Do you have like an average timeline you expect a guy to be able to pick up a bug and then assess it and then get a response or a verdict?
Yeah, I mean, on average, and I'm talking about the average on time spent actually reading the report, understanding the report, is like a couple of hours. But of course, we have cases where it takes way long, because we need to understand different details and we ask projects for those details, because triagers do understand really well where there are limitations when it comes to understanding a bug report when they're reading a bug report for a mediation, because we've done this thousands of times already.
Mm-hmm.
And we have experience and also the luxury of being able to ask project for additional questions. The same thing for the White House, because we see, okay, for us to fully evaluate this objectively, because we are talking about objective truth here as much as it is possible in a bug report, also in the context of the rules of a bug bounty program. Then we see, okay, for us to fully understand if this is, for example, a full drain, what are the limitations that project are talking about. Then we dive into documentation. If documentation doesn't answer that question, or the code doesn't answer that question, then we ask the questions. And in those cases, actually most of the cases, this actually prolongs the mediations. Some of the mediations are quite simple and easy to understand, because we still need to evaluate the bug report, and not only on the technical merit, but the policies in questions, because the same bug that may be valid on one program, on another program that may be very similar in terms of technology, they may have a different rules, and they won't accept that bug because they don't care about that. And we need to take that into consideration.
And when you say most mediations are fairly simple to resolve, do you mean simple to close out, or simple to kind of like in a positive way for the bug hunter, or that they're kind of, you know, requesting a follow-up or an appeal on something that's unappealable?
I mean, both, actually. Of course, still most, let's say like 20% of the mediation that we're dealing with are difficult mediations. And by difficult mediations, I mean they're more complex, and we need to gather more evidence to actually resolve them. And the rest, I would say, are simple in a terms that there's like a clear bug bounty program rule, or there's like a clear POC, and then we're pushing project for a payment. There are both sides to this, or simply there's a white hat whom's report got closed. He doesn't agree with the closure reason. We go in, check that, yeah, everything checks out, or maybe yes, it was actually a non-issue. We verified that with the project, or no, what you're saying is actually not true, and we're closing that. Those are relatively easy to do, and because we check every kind of a mediation, because mediations are open for anyone can call them, no matter the level of the white hat. So it's not like we always getting the most interesting cases. I wish that that was the case. But we also are dealing with lower quality bug reports. Also, we do have higher quality bug reports, and those bug reports are mostly not the mediations on those are mostly the case for policy questions, not necessarily on the technical details.
Yeah, and I brought this up to Mackenzie, if you heard that, where I said one improvement you could make was some sort of delay or messaging side thing or something where, you know, this, you could prevent things from going to mediation for simple things that could be resolved, because a project loves being able to say boom, closed, out of scope, or whatever it is. And then there could be one piece of information that the white hat needs to give them that maybe, you know, they contested, and they have to open up the mediation. And then right now, I think mediation, the delay it's substantial. I mean, would you say a week, 2 weeks right now you'd have to wait?
Yeah, I would say that's true. And the reason for that, and something that we're definitely gonna talk about, are LLMs, because people do use GPT or other AI tools to help them with writing the bug reports, and even searching for bugs for them. And we still need to check those, because you never know. Because we had cases where, for example, something did look like GPT generated, but was actually a valid bug. And we needed to check that and verify that, even though the report was really, really large, like 3 pages long, but we needed to verify that.
Yeah. I understand that. And my idea here, and it seems so simple, why not charge $1? Why not charge just a small hurdle to submit things for the obvious spam ones?
Yeah, I mean, believe me, we had those talks internally for many, many years now, and probably we're gonna introduce something. I'm not saying that this is a promise. This is something that we're actually more actively discussing right now as a potential spam prevention, because it's getting out of hand. Because AI is, of course, has its own positive utilities in bug bounty hunting, but it became more and more convincing at trying to sound like valid when actually it isn't valid.
Mm-hmm.
And this is hard to distinguish. It's not about only like, hey, I ran this code base through GPT and here are like 10 bugs that are critical. We get those, by the way, as well. And those are quite easy to dismiss and do mediations on as well. But there are cases where somebody also uses different tools, AI tools, to write POC that may be runnable or not, but we need to, of course, check that. And they're really great at convincing you that something actually is true where it isn't. And it's harder and harder to actually check those.
This is absolutely a confirmed critical. That's the best ones. And then if you prompt the LLM, you say, I don't think it is. And they say, oh, you're right. This is total bullshit.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I also want to ask something about you have like two tiers, right? You have all your bug programs, and it has a normal kind of triaging that you guys do. I think you check a valid POC, look at the bug report, but then you have this triage by immunefi kind of thing that I guess protocols pay extra for. And like, what is that? Do the guys have to get up to speed on the docs, the protocol, and then they function as the proxy for the protocol? And then like only when they're like, hey, this is really legit, protocol, you need to pay this, or does the protocol still kind of do the same amount of review anyway? How does that work?
Okay, so those two levels of triaging, so let me clarify. I mean, the first one, we do only run our automated filtering on those. So our friend Andrew does all the work, and projects do rest of the triaging. On those projects, and as for everything, mediations are free and everyone can request that. And so no matter the project, SRs can still ask for help of immunefi and will come in and do full technical evaluation and side with you if you're correct, or side with project if project is correct, because we need to be neutral here. With managed triaging, that this is a paid triaging. This is where we actually do filtering ourselves. We get the bug reports first, then we decide if this is actually valid, just looking at the initial bug report, the POC, technical details, documentations, and of course bug bounty program rules. And then we either escalate or close. You still can, of course, ask for a mediation in both of those cases, especially when it got escalated and got closed by the project, because there may be some misunderstanding on the project side. But generally, we need to get up to speed with majority of the customers that we're handling on the paid side. That doesn't mean that we are experts in those projects, but we understand them enough to be able to triage the bug reports, to be able to say like, hey, this like we're like 95% sure that this is valid. Please take a look at that. And after escalation, it's just like a normal backflow, meaning projects take a look and they decide whether this is true or not. But if there's like a disagreement, and for example, project says like, yeah, this is valid, but it's not high, it's maybe a medium, then please, if you don't agree with that, and if you have like a strong technical reasons to believe that you actually were right in claiming that this is like a high impact, then ask for a mediation. Then we'll come in and still actually provide full technical details based on all the new information that came out, and we'll dispute everything that was said in terms of like, hey, here's immunefi evaluation, here's how we think should have happened here. Some of the projects are paying for the highest tier of mediation of managed triaging, where actually we do provide mediation like service already at the very beginning. But not many people, not projects are actually choosing that managed triaging.
Okay. I think it's a pretty cool package that's offered, because I could see the advantage. Client just says, hey, immunefi, just handle the whole thing. And because if you're getting spam left and right, you got to have a guy on staff to handle all that submissions coming through on your project team. So would you say people are pretty satisfied about how you guys are running that?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they still have the final say. Don't get me wrong, but they're quite satisfied with managed triaging and how we've been handling things.
Mm.
Of course, on the other side, on the white hat side, there may be some dissatisfaction because more reports are, for example, being closed than escalated compared to other programs. But I mean, we need to do our job well.
Mm-hmm.
We need to check those rules of bug bounty programs, and I will be referring to the rules of bug bounty programs because they are super crucial. Because one mistake that I see mm, different white hats are making is looking only at the scope of the program, like what are the assets, and they're just hunting, not necessarily reading what actually project will accept. Because they may find like some lows or mediums, or they're thinking, "Hey, this high looks interesting," but project actually already knows about this issue because we try to list all the known issues or previous audits of a project on a bug bounty program.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're surprised that maybe something already is unknown or maybe a duplicate because it was reported previously, and there's like a write up already for that. So one thing that I would encourage everyone to do is read bug bounty program rules, because it would make lives of everyone so much easier, because then there are at least some clear rules and expectations, the basic expectations of what somebody could expect when they click submit on that bug report.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the more clear we can make it to everyone, it just
Yeah.
saves all this hassle. I'll give you an example with one, and I'm sure there's plenty. With a protocol that's currently in mediation, is an asset was in scope, right? And
Yeah.
then they closed me out, and they said, "Oh, the bug's valid, okay, but oh, we're not using it right now." And it's like, well, from my perspective, if I read your program and you have the asset in scope, then it's in scope for your bounty. Uh, I try to look at things and say, okay, is this deployed on chain? Are there transactions going to it?
Yeah.
That's all part of it. I agree. However, you put it on your assets and scope list and you're signaling to any bug hunter, spend your time and resources to audit this and find bugs in it. So that way, when we do begin to use it, okay, great. So I agree, it's not like max critical, because it's actively used, but hey, it's in scope. You're planning on using it. The code's finalized. That's why you've listed it in scope. So to close it out and say, "Oh, we're not going to pay. You found it. Thanks." That's bullshit, and that's just getting a free bug and doing what a lot of projects like to do with that. I think that's unacceptable.
Oh yeah, I do agree. This is unacceptable. And what we usually do in such situations, we do verify and check if it is actually not used. We ask proof from projects to actually prove to us, hey, are you actually using that or not? If it is deployed on chain, it's much easier because then we can check when it was deployed, if there's like any transactions to it, if anybody actually is using that, or maybe the last transaction was like 400 days ago. That's like, yeah, it doesn't seem right that previously it was like many transactions in a day, but the last one was like 400 days ago. Yeah, the project forgot to update the asset in scope. That also happens. But we also need to look at the impact. If somebody would actually try to exploit that, it would impact the project.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah, because yeah, if the answer is yes, then yeah, we will try to get things right. And we also had situation on the mediations where something was not deployed, but the code was frozen. They announced it everywhere that, hey, in like X days, we will actually launch this. And they made a change in that code. And somebody found a bug in that code that was supposed to go live. It was like a blockchain DLT bug, and it was critical, like the highest critical that you can find, and they could use the excuse of like, hey, there's no impact right now, because that was right. That code wasn't yet deployed, but we treated it as already deployed because everything looked like it was already gonna be deployed as it is, and the hacker got paid the max critical for that. And we have cases like that. That's why in such situations, and you will also hear me throughout this interview a lot, request a mediation when you feel like something is going wrong, especially in cases like that, because there's maybe some reward after you actually ask for a mediation. It of course depends on the cases. There's not something that we or anyone can actually promise you that will happen. But if asset is in scope and if it is actually used or has been used at least in recent times, or there's like big indication that it will be used soon, and everything is pointing towards that, and there's like a clear impact, what will happen after it gets deployed, then yeah, it's a valid bug.
Yeah, agree. There's so many. There's so much nuance that a project can use.
Yes.
I mean, there's good actors and there's bad actors, and no one wants to pay out big bounties. And projects love to say, "Oh, we would have got that." You know what? We would have seen. We would have got it. We would have seen that. What are you talking about? Us? We're god devs. Okay, don't miss anything.
Yeah, I mean, oh my god, I've dealt with such mediations as well and with such projects. Luckily, in most cases, we are able to convince them otherwise, because we have different rules, different articles that also Mackenzie was mentioning on the previous episode. And we can use those. Of course, if project is not willing to collaborate, cooperate with us and with the white hat, then we do from time to time pause the project and remove them from our platform. But we never know which project will behave correctly and which won't. But there's still some things that we as immunefi can do. I do agree that this is always anxious and nervous situations and stressful situations to be in, because you submitted something that is quite clear, of course, to you and also to us, but project is not seeing this. But then you need to trust immunefi, because we've seen many of cases like that, and we also had successful cases in such situations.
And I have a question for you, just thinking about this, because I realized that there's also the other tab on immunefi where you can not do smart contracts and you can do websites applications. You triage for those as well, right?
Yes.
What is that pipeline look? Is that completely different than the smart contract pipeline as far as submissions, spam? Like, how does that differ?
It's a little bit different. We maybe not be getting as much spam on those, simply because the highest rewards are for smart contracts and blockchain. So people and serial spammers are focusing on those. But we do have some quite successful stories of paid reports on web and app, where, for example, the whole application could be taken down, or there was like an RCE, or somebody would be able to mint tokens through the front end. We had a situation like that. It's always recommend. I do always recommend to customers to always, if you're a DeFi protocol, if you're a blockchain and you have any web component, please add that in scope, because you never know. The broader your scope is, more protected you are, because you're communicating to the rest of security community that, hey, I'm interested in catching everything. And people are not, we get less volume on the web and app, and I would like to change that, because I believe we do have the same great, on some of the projects, updated standards for how we're gonna evaluate web and app bug reports. And we have some white hats who are solely focusing on that, and they're quite successful. But not so many people are yet actually hunting on web and app assets.
It's interesting. So any guys looking for less competition and you're good on that side, go for it. So I want to drop some alpha here. Our alpha drop, and I didn't prep you for any of this. I try not to prep guests for anything, to be honest. Just like a non-interview, but just to have a chat, and they should be knowledgeable about their subjects and everything. And I know you are. So let's do an alpha drop. I'll do one from my side, and I'll let you think for a minute on your side. I want to ask you alpha for the bug hunters on like what they could do to make their bug report, their submission get approved. Like what common things maybe people are doing wrong, lacking key details or quantifiable metrics or something like that. So think on that for a sec, and I'm going to drop a little alpha here, and this is on something we found recently, and that would be just to look, and it's a simple one, like all bugs in hindsight, but it's when you have a raw call and you have a vector there where the raw call is a subcolon of function, and you can use less gas to maybe hit that call, and then it reverts and it doesn't bubble up down the line. And you never know what kind of interesting behavior will result in that. And we have a high sev, and I say we because I'm working with a humble chat, and we're bringing some new cool stuff to light. We'll reveal more details further, but we have a high pending for a big protocol based upon this bug, and I'm very confident we'll get approved. But simple bugs just like that can give you some interesting findings. So Adrian, hit me. What do you got for the alpha drop?
Not sure if this is gonna be alpha because this is obvious to many people, but you will be surprised how many people are actually executing on this. Not so many. Focusing on proof of concept and making sure that you get your details right. Question your assumptions on every way when you're actually looking for bugs and you think you actually got something. Test that. Because I've seen many cases where some white hats were really close of actually getting a bug right, but they missed on something because instead of relying on real systems like just using a main network to test the real deployed contracts, they use local deployment, and the GitHub code for the same smart contracts was a little bit different, or they mocked something because they thought, hey, it should be working like that. Never assume anything when you're writing POCs and looking for bugs. Test everything. If you know that, hey, I spent like 5-10 iterations on a POC and I feel like I have it right now, submit it. And then if anything, ask for a mediation. But that POC part and working and question your own assumptions is a key, and not many people are actually doing that, because right now people are writing a POC. They may be using some AI tooling to help them with that. Nothing wrong with this, but people are trying to get bugs as fast as possible and onto the platform, which I also understand in terms of mentality here and psychological factor. But if you spend more time on doing deeper research into the bug, either you will invalidate your bug yourself, which is still a very great and cool learning experience, and you may actually better understand the protocol, and that actually can lead you to better, bigger bugs.
Very good alpha drop. I just want to add a couple things. I totally agree. If you want the gold standard, do a mainnet fork and run your bug against live contracts and show like, boom, look, I can do it right now, versus the protocol test suite, because it just gives less reason for it to be rejected. And also, secondly, is do not get confirmation bias on your bug. Do not be like LLMs. This is absolutely correct, because if you see it's not correct, hey, nice try. Go find something else, but don't submit just because, oh yeah, I mocked up. Oh yeah, now I'm the admin, and I just happened to call this function. It's never been called before to shut down the protocol. And this is what would happen. You can't do that. You can't make crazy assumptions like that. It just won't fly.
Exactly.
All right, on to the questions. So you had some questions from the Discord.
Mm-hmm.
So we had one from K42. He says, "What do you do as a triager to understand protocols code and get the knowledge to counter reports with the correct technical specificity to know what's
I
what?"
know. I'm looking at the question. So yeah, okay. So the first thing that we're doing is actually seeing what the report is talking about. What's that one particular section of the code base of the functionality of the protocol, of the business logic that this report is actually trying to attack, and we try to understand that. We don't need to always have the full knowledge of the whole protocol. You need to really understand and focus on the details on that one particular case. And with that, it's much not necessarily easier, but faster to actually try to see if the bug is valid or not. Of course, the POC does help a lot, especially as we can see what actually which steps are actually being taken. But just reading the documentation regarding that specific functionality, reading the code for that specific section that bug report is currently attacking, seeing what backhunter is saying, and making our decision based on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the next question is from Teoslav1, and he's asking directly to you, what made you go into triaging instead of auditing or bounty hunting full time? How the heck did you end up where you are?
Ah, okay, so that's a fun story. Um, so generally, my story in crypto started in 2016. Where I mean, a little before that, of course, I learned about
OG.
Bitcoin. Yeah, I uh, I got interested in Bitcoin, what crypto was all about, but quickly realized that okay, Bitcoin is cool, but what's really cool is actually the blockchain. Bitcoin is just like a first implementation of the blockchain. So I started reading about that. And I did some tinkering at the work at the time because I was working on the BAE systems. Then I was able to do some internal project regarding Bitcoin. Later, I had some different, I think, like cool ideas how you can utilize blockchain technology internally for just tracking of some documentations of different vehicles, things like that, that needed to be constantly repaired. That would like speed up things quite a lot. But that idea failed because somebody didn't understood everything. So at that time, like, okay, let me go look for something else where I can actually look into blockchain full time. That's where that was during ICO boom. So I was going into the solidity side of things, writing ICO contracts, ERC20 contracts for different projects, working at a software house. But after that, I wanted to do more than just ICO contracts, because what can you do really with those? Not much. But I still got my first experience with Solidity there, and I was looking at many rag pulls at the time. I was like, okay, I started be more conscious regarding security side of things, and I was always interested in security. I mean, as a kid, I loved just hacking my consoles. I remember just getting my PlayStation Portable and knowing and getting to know how I can install Homebrew on that. Luckily, at the time, I had uh, uh, Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories that was needed to actually hack the console, because they had a bug in how the game was loading, and you could actually take over that, and it was really cool stuff. So I was always interested in tinkering with stuff and with smart contracts and how much money was at stake. I got curious about that before I actually managed to start as an auditor, because I was working as an auditor for over a year. I was working on one DeFi protocol, working on one blockchain protocol, just dipping my toes into different aspects of blockchain technologies. But after, when I was working as an auditor at Certic, by the way, I started to write more on my blog. Really, because I had a challenge of writing daily for 100 days, and I managed to do that. And in the process of that, I was looking at the current hacks that were happening, because I also wanted to learn more for my own sake, so I can become a better auditor. And at the time, Mitchell noticed me on Twitter and asked me like, "Hey, maybe can we get on a call?" And I did, and rest is
And
history.
here you
So here I am,
and you
I started as a triager, and I currently running the team, and I really couldn't be happier.
and you've revealed
And I
something
never actually.
that people might view positively or negatively when you said the word Certic.
I know. I was prepared for that.
But they listen, Certic. All right. It's a company. It has its flaws, whatever.
Yeah.
But I will say that the early reports are very good. They're very good. It's not. I don't believe it's a scam audit from this and that.
Yeah.
They may have changed their strategy to something different, but in the beginning, at least, I've read a lot of Certic reports, and they're very in depth. They're very good. So
Yeah. There's a chance that you probably read some of my reports. Right now, something that hurts me still is they removed the names from the reports to be more unified as coming from Certic, not particular auditors. But yeah,
that's not cool, because if you want to do something else, it's good to show that body of work. That, hey, look, I did this.
Yeah.
But
I learned a lot at Certic. Without Certic, I wouldn't be here. So I can I know what's the view of Certic right now, and I knew how Certic was viewed back in the days. 2020, 2021, when I was working there. It was much better than it is right now, and I feel like Certic is changing some things, and they're more listening to the community, which is great. But I had a great team back then. I learned a lot from them, and I truly wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Certic. So
there you go. Salute to old school Certic.
Yeah.
And I liked your blog too, because I'm doing writing now with my Substack and just putting some security stuff out there. And I took a look at yours, and I liked a couple of yours you had. One was called "The Weight of an Open Tab," and the other one you had "When Your Mind Stays at the Office." And man, how relevant is that? Basically, you were saying that just these things that kind of stick around in your mind that you don't realize they're in your mind, and you're trying to do things offline, trying to be in real life, and you're still thinking about them, tasks you have to do, and you don't think about how it affects you. And this could be in any role, security researcher, doing what you're doing, any job, but you don't think about it until you really think about it, and then you take that off your mind, and you just get a wave of relief.
Oh, I agree. I change the way how I write, because there are so many more skilled technical writers than I am. And right now, with one kid and second one coming, I don't have that much time. And I also like to just get away from socials and any technology in my free time, just enjoy a book. And I notice how a big of a difference that actually made. Also positive on my current work. And I thought like, hey, security researchers are doing exactly needing to hear exactly the same things, because I've been talking to different people, some close friends, some SRs who have been DMing me on Twitter and helping them out. And yeah, I want to be more universal right now with those different articles, because it will also affect how you find bugs. If you're constantly thinking about bug hunting, about some protocols, for some it works so good for them, but everyone needs a break. everyone needs to actually declutter their mind, because the most deep thinking, the interesting thinking happens when you're not doing work. That's why we have all those aha moments where, for example, we taking a shower or doing something else,
Very good point.
walking with the dog, going to the forest, or just enjoying the nature, because the mind is constantly working. It may not be working actively on the issue that you might be having, but it will work in the background without you even noticing. And that is where the magic happens.
And given that my audience is the majority is 18 to 24, you're going to get a lot of guys rolling their eyes right now like, I don't need a break.
Yeah.
It's puffing on that vape, sucking down a monster. I don't need a break. I could work 16 hours a day, sleep, wake up, do it again. And hey, I've been there. I get it. But you don't
Yeah.
know until you know. Like, take a break. And all I'm saying is, like, I have a couple kids and a family, and I like to do other things outside of just live on the fucking blockchain. And so, like, I just tweeted this. I swapped my phone for one of the e-ink phones, so it's really boring.
Ah,
So I don't reach for it. There's no X on there. There's I don't have social media, whatever. There's no real reason to use it. And then I have an Apple Watch, strictly because it has a 4G antenna in there. So I use it when I go run and everything. But then I'll just take that as like my quasi phone. So I go out, it's on airplane mode, whatever. But then, hey, if I need to make a call to my wife, whatever, boom, I throw it on 4G, talk to her, turn it off. And then I don't have
yeah.
some stupid brick that I'm pulling out, just social anxiety, like every reason people pull the fucking phone out. It's like I love just having that boredom, and you're able to think, and you're back in the fucking 90s, man. That's where it's at.
Oh, I mean that's great to hear. I mean, I've been writing a lot on my blog about journaling, because right now I'm at the stage where I rather pick my field notes and write something there, or think about, ruminate about anything that may be happening, either in live or at work, than grabbing my phone. Of course, I'm still not perfect at that, but yeah, I've been actually considering buying one of those inks phones and doing that. I actually swapped my Apple Watch for a mechanical watch because I was tired of constant pings.
That's what
Yeah.
airplane mode's for. Turn off all notifications.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm romanticizing. I mean, I'm being romantic about analog things and having an analog watch and just looking at it and knowing that it's only telling time. Plus, is like nicely done. It has like mechanical heart. Then I know that it was made by humans. And with everything right now being AI generated, it's like going back to those things that actually made us human and were made by humans is something that I do truly enjoy.
I totally agree. I have a nice Breitling mechanical watch, and
Oh, beautiful.
I like to just pull that out sometimes, and I like going totally offline. If you go to a
Yeah.
place, say I'm traveling, go to a hotel, give me a whiskey neat, and just you have an analog watch on, and you're not glancing at anything, but you're striking up conversations or with the
Mm.
bartender or whatever, and just living like that is great, man. Leave the phone in the hotel. I love it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, one of the books that I recently finished is Digital Minimalism by Cal Newport. And for anyone listening, especially those 18 to 24, give it a read. It may change how you think about technology and your relationship with technology.
Second
I'm
alpha
not saying.
drop. You got to put it in a YouTube short for them though, or they don't read anything. That's a problem.
Yeah, but I mean, technology, I mean, is of course important, and that's why I got into blockchain in the first place, because I got truly amazed by what you can do with crypto, with blockchain technology, and democratizing everything. We kind of went sideways with that, but that's like another topic. But there are still some OGs out there who actually are fighting for that battle. Uh, but also the use of social media, especially X, in terms of crypto. I mean, what I noticed and why I mostly stopped using Twitter was I got anxious about, oh my god, all those different people are doing all those cool stuff. They're finding those cool bugs,
Oh
which I
yeah,
also seeing on at work. And what am I doing?
yeah.
And
The
it's just
fear of
like,
missing out.
no, yeah, you're not missing out. Just do your thing, do at your own pace. It's cool to hear sometimes stories that somebody was uh, working 16 20 hours a day, and they came from nothing, and within 6 months or 9 months they just found a bug just using their phone, which is like a true story. Jesus. And like, oh my god, cool, it's amazing, I'm happy for you. But the question that you also need to ask yourself when thinking about such stuff, when you're romanticizing about, okay, I want to do this again, but are you actually willing to swap lives with that person, with every ups and downs, not only looking at all the achievements, but also all the struggles that that person had that actually led them to be able to push so hard to actually get this.
Yeah, yeah, and don't
Y-
compare yourself against other guys, especially not on the internet, which is worldwide. You're never going to be at the top. But just
yeah,
compare it against your prior self last month, last year. How are you doing now financially, knowledge wise? And use that as your baseline, because I'll tell you, like seeing White Mage come out with like these massive 7-figure bounties, everyone's like, oh fuck, everyone's like, man, I wish it was me. But at the same time, you're like, all you could do is congratulate, because like, hey man, the guy worked hard, a little luck
yeah,
thrown in, but hey, he did it. Awesome. That's all you could do. It's like when you transition from the mentality of someone's getting richer than me to, well, that doesn't really affect my earning potential at all. So who cares? Good for this guy. And just look at it like that. As soon as you change your mindset and just kind of focus on your past self and where you are now, you don't stress about it, because the a recipe for disaster is a double espresso and maybe some nicotine, and then you get on X and you start scrolling through and you see people's trades, people's wins, this and that, and you just think there's no way I'm keeping up, and you'll just burn out with exhaustion.
yeah. True.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing that you said that I fully agree with is like, always compare yourself to where you were a month ago, a week ago, a year ago, because then you will see some growth. And always focus on improving yourself and not comparing yourself to others. And the same goes with every bug report that also got rejected. If it got rejected because it was a duplicate, I mean, good for you, man. You found something that was actually found by other people and got reported because it was a valid vulnerability. I mean, you wish you actually found a valid vulnerability like 6 months ago. Now you're on that path. Now try to find something that actually is quite unique, but you're on a good path. There are all those different signals that everything is telling you like you're currently doing great. You may not be getting paid yet for that, but actually you're having already the skill sets to find some live vulnerabilities. Let's dig more into that. And it's all about that mindset. Skill set is one thing. Some people are more talented than the others, but it's also all about the hard work and the mindset,
There you,
and the proper hard work.
and that's it, man. Hard work. And we have to bounce now because someone actually booked a podcast directly after this that I have to start in a few minutes. But Adrian, thank you for coming on. And everyone, we will see you next time on the blockchain.